What you doing? I'm your Otakutainment, the AC Stories with this Otakutainment reviews for Weekly Shonen Jump issue 12 of 2025. Maybe the best intro I've done so far. If I wouldn't have just announced, that was probably the best intro I've done so far for this. But finally getting the hang of it. I am, of course, like usual, streaming this live on Twitch, like I will be doing every Tuesday. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But if you're not live right this second, you can watch it later on YouTube and the such, podcasts, audio versions of Spotify, stuff like that. And then, join me in the future if you want to chat about the future issues. And if you do, we can talk about whichever series you want. I can skip back and forth, maybe even go back to some if people join in late. Doesn't matter to me. I'm just here to talk about some manga, which I am going to do in the order of, at the time of what I read them in, the least viewed on Manga Plus, which going back and looking has changed a bit, but I'm sticking with what I originally started with. So let's start with Me and Roboco, chapter 221, Extracurriculars and Bondo, which is just kind of what it says. They're doing some club activities. It shows a few, but we're mainly focused on, of course, Bondo, Gorilla, Mosuo, who are part of the Shonen Bermuda editorial club. And let me be clear, they are not part of the manga club. They are specifically part of the editorial side. A whole separate club, I guess, work together. They bring it up. There is a separation in these clubs, but how do they actually work together? Because they're the ones actually making all the decisions for who's in the magazine. So what's going on in the manga club? We don't know. We don't get to see it, but unfortunately for them, 2 series have ended. One is on hiatus because of different circumstances. So Bondo pretty much goes like panic mode, starts green lighting people who shouldn't be greenlit. The other two, Gorilla and Mosuo, they realize this, but what are you gonna do? Bondo's the head of them, so nothing they can do, I guess, and they don't really try that hard. It seemed like one very quick discussion, and that's it. However, they still have a problem because they still need a cover page, and then like color inserts, who they end up having to, in a very overly dramatic lot, more than last second, literally. Last second is run off the clock in order to get them into print. Bondo comes sprinting as fast as possible, I guess, to get the cover in, and it's done by Roboco, which I guess is a decent callback to the previous art chapter, but it still looks goofy. But honestly, not as bad as I would expect. So they made it. That's it. That was the chapter. Just kind of silliness to it, like usual. And honestly, still impressive though. Imagining being that age, trying to put together a whole manga magazine. Respect, I did pretty well. Also, now I'm curious as to what do the other series in it look like. Yeah, we never really get to find out any more than that. And since it's just a gag manga, every week's different. We won't probably ever get to see it ever again. But let's just go ahead and move on to some Super Psychic Policeman Chojo number 50, the personality quiz and the senior police officer. This one was pretty straightforward. Not really much goes into it. It's pretty much Lily has Ippongi take a personality love test, which makes Ippongi worry about having a crush on Chojo. And that's pretty much, then they go on patrol the whole time. Ippongi's just worrying. Chojo actually is like, I'm not going to read your mind, don't worry about that. But then that's pretty much it. It ends with, I think, Chojo eventually trying to take it too, but don't really get much more than that. Like, it kind of makes it seem like Chojo's like a lonesome, saddish dog or puppy, which makes Ippongi want to take care of Chojo even more. But besides that, it was kind of pretty straightforward, predictable. I don't even really remember any standout funny bits in it. So we'll just move on to... I'm trying to be less negative about this series. Newest Exorcist chapter, that is very small print. I think 86. A new mother. I get the title. Yeah, I get it. It makes sense. This one's kind of sad. A sad chapter. But what to... Okay, first it starts with where you say 2 level 4s and Gashadokuro attack. One person, don't know the name of the person. If it's ever said it in the past, I forgot it and I just never took a note on. It's going to take them on for now because, you know, Reisei's already contracted to 2, which means it'll be less power or less control, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. We don't really get to see the fight much at the very end. We kind of do, but most of this shifts to Kyokosu, or who takes on the nickname of Lil Kyoko. Turns out is a failed synthesized spirit, and then goes on to tell Shiraha's backstory. Shiraha used to be like this energetic, nice, friendly kid, and that's where the title comes from. Is Shiraha calls Lil Kyoko the new mom or something like that, or treats Lil Kyoko like a mom. But yeah, just training, and then eventually through all this training, that's how we get to the Shiraha now. Pretty quick backstory, how I normally like them actually, and we got the point. And now we get to see Lil Kyoko. It looked like had an instrument on the back, but it was like a weird eyes tool, so they can see everything that's going on the property. Gakuro and Lil Kyoko feel the attack. They realize they're going after Shiraha. That's where we get to kind of tune into the fighting started. Not much to it. We get some backstory. I don't know. It seems like Shiraha should have been... I don't know. It just is random. Like, why is all this happening now? Because it's like, okay, when Shiraha was first introduced, sure. And then they just were like, okay, we're just leaving it alone for a while. I don't know. The whole thing's kind of weird. But, I don't know. We're getting it. We're getting backstory, which is nice. It'll keep going. We'll see what happens next. Just all of it just seems so random. Like, just plot and storyline wise. So it's just, I don't know, me trying to make excuses for it, or me just trying not to be too negative for it. I don't know. But let's move on to another series I'm not crazy about, and it's hard to get into. Star of Beethoven, number 2, Ichiro Yaso. What's it? Okay, I mean, I have stuff to say because I take notes, of course. Beethoven is literally chasing Yaso to make Yaso apprentice. That's kind of the humorous bit. Literally chasing, like running around. Then we get the backstory of Yaso, who practiced almost every hour of the day, except for school. But there was 1 hour a day Yasu had free. Usually spent that just wasting time, relaxing, whatever. But then does eventually meet someone at a cafe playing the piano, who becomes also his master, which is nice. It's a nice little backstory for that too. But the master dies, and then this is where like there's a frantic, how do they phrase it? Like a conquering of a piano, because the person, did I forget the person's name? I don't remember. The person was like, yeah, the piano is king of instruments, sure, but that doesn't mean you need to try to beat the king. You gotta work there, something like that. But then it becomes like you're also trying to conquer the piano. They're like desperately trying not to forget what this person taught. And then that, of course, leads to a competition where Yasu came second, but the comments were like Yasu completely conquered it, and it's like, how do you say that and then be like second? How good was the first person? I don't know. It seems like an excuse, and it's like, you're the best, but this person's the child of one of the judges, so we kind of got to give it to him. Which, I've had the opposite thing happen. I judged a science fair once, and the person I was going to give first place to was the kid of one of the teachers, and the teacher was like, hey, can you not give my kid first place so it doesn't seem weird or suspicious right now? But, I don't know. How do you also get second with a comment like that? I don't know. Me getting on random rights. And then to end it all, gives Beethoven a place to stay, but still won't let Beethoven be a mentor. That's really all that happens. Like, okay, it's good we're getting the backstory, some of the backstory out of the way right at the beginning, but also for a second chapter, it's a nice backstory. It's nice. Master philosophically, it's kind of nice, but it's not a super strong second chapter. And honestly, this is the 4th thing I'm talking about, which means it's the fourth least viewed, yeah, manga on Manga Plus. So a lot, at least English readers aren't crazy about it. Yeah, I don't see this one last long either. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that so quickly, but I just don't know what it plans on doing. I can't even guess. I could try, but it's just so, I don't know. But maybe it'll surprise me. It's still early, still young. We'll see later. Next, let's move on to Astro Royale. This is where all of the order gets mixed up because, I don't know, things change. Different people read on different days, but don't check what's on Manga Plus right now. We're sticking with my order. No, anyways, Astro Royale, Chapter 41, Hibari versus Taira. A very confusing chapter. I'm still not crazy about however the sibling dynamics are supposed to be working out, because it seems like they're all kind of the same. Anyways, so we start with a flashback of Hibari and Taira jumping off a bridge to save a kid. Cool. Don't know what Taira's motivation is yet. We don't find out in this chapter. Just seems, aside from this flashback, Taira's a pretty shitty person. Anyways, and it does admit at some point that Taira and the other one intentionally poisoned their father, but there must be something else to it. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. Anyways, so they skip the next fight that Kogane won. I guess they just don't care. We'll see that later when Terasu, I assume. Yeah, it must be the next one fighting. So now we go to Taira and Hibari, which, if you think about how tournament rankings work, I'm pretty sure it should have been Hibari and Terasu, but it's fine, whatever. So yeah, they're fighting. There's some back and forth. Taira uses like a sword that also can turn a whip, and it seems like it cuts. I don't know if it's more of a mental cut, even though Hibari does get an actual cut. But it can't cut through Hibari's arm. But it keeps doing it like it's a vision kind of thing. So I don't know if they're actual literal cuts all the time, or if it's mainly just a mental thing. But when Hibari finally gets the upper hand, Taira threatens to kill Tsukushi, the sibling they were looking for this whole time. Yeah, so things got turned shitty, of course. And that's where it ends. Yeah, that was it. So we'll just have to see where this goes. Of course, everything will be okay, but we'll just see. Let's move on. Watch the double spread. Number 190. This is supposed to be the 2 years. Not 2 years. Is it 2 years? No, not 2 years. 4 years? How many years was it? 190? That must be at least 4. Yeah. I guess the 4-year celebration. I feel like you would celebrate 200 and not 4 years or whatever. Anyways, familiar sitter. No, I don't think I actually read the title name because I'm still just that shitty. So, this one, Nico is 11 and is now in the same class as Chami. I don't know how the whole school thing's going to work. Is time actually passing by? I'm not very clear on how this time in this works. Yeah, I don't know. Or Nico's just growing faster, how it would be in school, do all that. Anyways, everyone goes to the mall. Well, a lot of the main group. I'm not going to name them all. A handful of them. But then a butterfly turns someone into a kid again, who then ends up turning the rest of the adults in the group into kids, aside from Nico and Chami. So it's up to Chami to go chase down this turned kid person while Nico babysits everyone else, which gives Nico a idea of like, oh yeah, taking care of kids is hard. You're also a kid. Because there was this whole thing of like Nico kind of being treated like a kid, which you are. You're a kid. You're 11. You're definitely a kid. I can't make any excuses for that. Yeah, I know Nico was also used to be older, but still a kid now. But that was pretty much it. Like, not really anything happened. If we followed Chami, probably would have been a lot more exciting, but it was really just Nico watching everyone being, oh yeah, you're like this as a kid, you're like that as a kid. Sure, everyone's like different as a kid. Okay, bathroom break, and then Chami comes in. It's like, okay, we got it. Sure. And that was it. So let's move on to Kill Blue. The series I was looking forward to see how this wrapped up, and it was kind of surprising. Page 89, Hate. Hate's not very, I don't know. The last chapter name also didn't really make any sense. It kind of did, but Hate. We don't really get much of a reason for this chapter to be called Hate, but that's fine. We're talking about it anyways. So, Ogami mostly tells Norin everything, like what all these challenges before, all that. Left out the age thing, and while all this is happening, Oka's just chilling. That's it. It's like kind of. Oka is saying if Norin finds out the truth, it'll make things harder. So Oka's not really saying anything or like getting in the way, but it's also like, yeah, Ogami, go ahead, tell if you want. Oka does eventually mention the fact that Ogami's a middle-aged, but Norin, I guess, doesn't catch that. Ogami still never actually says it. But then Norin offers to accept direct challenges from Oka instead of involving the friends and Ogami and all the other people. But then I think that's like pretty much ignored or like, bad away, not like taken seriously, but not given too much thought, because Ogami offers a marriage proposal, a fake one, but a legally real one, but a fake one, because Ogami does know Norin's at this moment a child, unless there's that twist everyone's expecting of Norin also having the drug that makes Norin a child, and Ogami, anyways, and just married long enough to becomes the next heir of the Mitsuoka Pharmaceuticals, and then take it down from the inside. And it's like, so that's going to be the next plan, and I guess we'll see where that plan actually goes. It feels like, I don't know, is that going to work? It's hard to imagine that will actually work. There's probably going to be a but we can't do it like that in the next chapter. We'll have to see whatever it actually is going to be. But yeah, let's move on to Sid Craft, Love is a Mystery, Case 12, An Extraordinary Day in a Magnificent Noble Daughter's Life. I almost said that without sounding weird. Daughter's Life. This one is okay. It doesn't really do much. It's just day in the life of Elio. That's it. Not in disguise. Let me be that clear. So it's Elio just going around not in disguise, but still needs to get to work for Sid, but then accidentally jumps into action while still in just normal, noble family kind of attire. So, almost in Sid's case, this is Elio disguised. But yeah, Elio and Sid track down a stolen cargo carriage on horseback. And that's pretty much it. The whole time Elio's trying not to get recognized by Sid, but Sid kind of recognizes something, and Elio's like, oh, this is from the first time they met. Also, I forgot Elio's a writer. I don't remember if Elio even did that, but it makes sense, sure. That was it. Pretty straightforward, not much to it. A bit of clever thinking on Elio's part to help Sid. But yeah, besides that, not much going on. So let's go on to The Elusive Samurai, Chapter 191, Intermission 1350. This one kind of has a lot going on. Still in that kind of like fast forward kind of mode, time skip. Mainly, we start actually kind of reversing the priority of the chapters now. So Tadafuyu grew up strong in the west, and then Takeuchi wants more now to kill Tadafuyu. That's pretty much it. We get that quick bit, and then it actually focused mainly on Tokiyuki, who we see arranged land for people to make families on. Also gave up ruling in order to also be able to get married. And then we switch to the three Tokiyuki wants to marry: Shizuku, Ayako, and Mima. Says marry all three. That's it. Just agrees to it. And then now they're all going to share. Yeah, and then they start to do the sharing part. That's it. That's all that happens. It's like, yeah, okay. So Tokiyuki is just letting them know they gonna smash. All three of them. They'll get married, but for now they're gonna smash. And they do, I assume. Let's move on to Akane-banashi, story 146. I'm back. Ooh, and this one's nice, and ooh, they try to trap you. And you read it chapter, you know what I'm talking about. Akane takes stage, and people are immediately starting to doubt. Of course, the people who don't know Akane, at least. And look, I don't know proper Rakugo etiquette and whatever, but it's because Akane comes out and just stands instead of sitting right away. And to me, that was like, Akane's taking in the moment. But that's because, and this might be it. I just now thought of this. Akane went to Paris, which is considered the West, and learned, like, I assume some of that classical Western art presentation performance will come in, which is typical to come out, stand, and bow like that, which I think is what Akane's doing, and it kind of shows that. Instead, I think in Rakugo they immediately go down and then do the bow. So I think that's kind of what it was, that just Paris training kicking in. But to me, it was just like, taking in the crowd, like, I'm like, Akane's back. That's what's going on, taking it all in again. And that's cool. And then Akane does a story about someone learning to yawn, which, notice right away, this is a trap. They're going to try to make me yawn. They're going to try to make everyone yawn. It's like, I'm not going to yawn. But whoever Tyson, because it's Tyson and Tyson catches a yawn, doesn't go through with it, and you see pretty much the rest of the audience yawning. And I didn't yawn. I knew it. But you know what I did is get so fucking that's a weird way to say this. I got so pleasantly calmed by just the art and the story and how everything was flowing. It was so nice. It was like literally just relaxing reading it. And yes, you know what I'm talking about. I bet you felt it too. If you want to just share your feelings on this, how did this make you feel? That's gonna be my question for this. But yeah, it was just nice and nice way to get back. And the story's not over, or it might be over. I don't know why you need a second chapter for this kind of story. You got people yawn, cool. I don't know where it goes on from there. But that was only a summer yawn. There's 3 other seasons of yawns. Are we getting 3 more chapters on different yawns? It'd be cool. But the other thing is, why this is so important is the yawn is less about what you say and more like how your body feels and responds and is interpreted by the audience, which is important for Paris when they don't speak Japanese and Akane doesn't really speak French. So a lot of it had to do with just body and gestures and making that kind of connection. So it makes sense, and it's a really cool idea to do this with yawn because apparently yawning is what is contagious globally, I guess. Now I'm curious. I don't know, next time I'm leaving this garbage place of a country now and going to somewhere actually decent, but now I want to experiment and see if yawning is global. It must be. This is a Japanese story. I guess now Paris influences, but now I'm curious. And then we get to see that Akane, we don't get to see exactly what Akane says about it, but does say, realizes why Isho wanted Akane to train overseas. And then that's it. And that's where we're kind of left off with. It was such a nice chapter. Anyways, let's move on to somewhat less nice, but still decent chapter. Ultimate Exorcist Kiyoshi, Chapter 32, The Fifth Demon Lord, Baku Yoraku. Take this silence or that pause as, what? I don't think they said who the demon lords were. I don't think they gave a number or names for any of them yet, or if they did, it was last chapter and I don't remember it. Weird. And they did say one of them was the weakest. The first one jumped down and actually tried to start fighting. They did say that one was the weakest, and pretty much right away that one's beaten by Kyoka. But I don't remember any of them saying their names, and I didn't take any notes. So if it did, it must have been last chapter and I just didn't notice. But there's 2 other demon lords that mainly shows off on this one. Kyoko's fighting another one who's, I guess if you look at it, make eye contact, turns you kind of cartoony. I know the fighting didn't really start yet. And then there's another one fighting Ono, and what did it do? It's like a trident or something. It's just strong, I guess. Some of Ono's crew's taken out pretty quickly, but then Ono's kind of trapped, and then Akari saves Ono, but then Akari gets grabbed, and then, really cool, the more I think about it, just in kind of scary, terrifying way, you think it's another demon lord, like, I think it is, right? Nihon Jack Joe fusion, like Nihon wearing Jack Joe, comes up, like, massive, grabs whoever this one was. I guess I'm going to assume that one's the fifth demon lord. I don't know. Yeah, and then you just get like a cool entrance of Nihon Jack Joe. That was cool. It was nice. I really like that one. But yeah, now we get to. I guess we'll see more fighting in the next chapters because that was kind of it for this one. So let's go to Shinobi Undercover, chapter 21, squad number 9. I'm an idiot because I need to read titles more often. That was one of my whole things. Because this one, let me just start talking about it so it makes more sense and I say things not in order. I must have read the 21 and thought that's what it was. Weird brain thing. So I was kind of wrong with what I predicted with this one. And that's fine. I'm glad I'm wrong. But Yotaka is at first and one other time in this chapter worrying about Aoi's gift, which seems distracting, but it's actually not. Yotaka's there, going full force, aware of everything. We do meet a new pair from the number 18 squad. We get one of their names. I don't know the other one if I ever said it, but the main person talking is Kogera, the pygmy woodpecker. And, okay. Who really is just there pissing everyone off. That's pretty much it. Just really looking down on this squad. And the whole time, and look, because they're like, oh, what 2-digit squad are you? You're also 2 digits. Okay? Like, why are you so full of yourself? And then I was thinking the whole time, it's like, what is their squad number? And I was like, oh, it's going to be some big reveal. I'm an idiot and I didn't read the chapter title. They're not. For some reason, I was like, are they in the 20s? And it's because it's chapter 21. Anyways, I'm an idiot. Ignore that part. But yeah, it turns out this whole thing was a trap. Number 18 pair is beat up, but then Yotaka saves them, and they're like, Kogura's like, oh yeah, I misjudged you, kind of apologetic. And then Kogura takes the other one, and they try to escape, because I guess they assumed it was all over that quickly. But then attacked again by a boss fugitive ninja named Bon the Moorhen. And that's it. That's where we leave. So I guess we're going to get a boss battle in the next chapter. We didn't really get to see much, so it just like strolling in all boss-like, like I'm the manager kind of deal. So we'll have to see where it goes next. I'm trying to think of what kind of fighting that would be. Oh, wears like a mask, like a demon-esque kind of mask. I don't know. I can't think of what kind of like gimmick this fight will have next week. But let's move on to I guess decent chapter for my least favorite series for the time being. Hema 10, no 30, Hono 10. Hono 10. Hono? Wait, hang on. Was one of their names Hono? Oh man, I am terrible at names. No. Okay, I don't know what Hono is. Is that Kanai's first name? Because Kanai is the family name. Realize that, especially because of a note. So, Iomori goes to Kanai's house to clean, but Kanai already did all the cleaning. The younger one, the child Kanai, because parent Kanai says Iomori can just go to and chill in child Kanai's room because the parent is always trying to hook up the child in a weird way to say that. But Iomori's pretty much just like, no, I'm here to clean, do my job. I'm being really professional about it. And it's like, is there anything else I can do until I cook for you? And it's pretty much like, okay, go outside and pull some weeds or whatever. It's like, okay, not what I normally do, but fine, that's working, sure. But then after work is over and enjoying a nice meal, Kanai is like, oh, you go to my room? And they do. And then it's just so Kanai can show or recommend It's summer cram school, so they can spend the summer together being nerds and shit. I don't know. I don't get the whole cram school thing. More school after school. I need to look more into cram schools and what those actually are, because you see them and everything. I just don't get the point. Our school's not teaching you enough. I don't know. I actually don't know that much about Japanese school systems. So I don't know. What is cram school? It sounds like something you would need if you was failing, but it seems like they're doing fine grade wise. So I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so that was pretty much it. They're going to be doing something together, and Parent Kanai is just trying to hook them up. Alright, so let's move on to what's next. Embers? Oh no. Embers, not ambers. Subtle difference. Embers, chapter 3, a viper, a hawk, and oh, I get the title name now. Like, I assumed it was talking about them. I didn't know specifically what a viper and hawk was referring to, or who it was referring to. I'm just going to say it. Hawk was names. Takami, the Viper, is a new character we meet named Inazaki, and then it doesn't say the and is Haitani is a wolf. Something like that. So in this chapter, we got to see Takami and Haitani met up again, and they're already about to fight. They're grabbing shirts, all that, and they're stopped by the head coach, who is also a student, who is the person we keep seeing, like in the stands, who looks like just a fan, but it's, I guess, a coach, unless I'm mixing the characters up. But person is Yukizuki. Sure, that's the name. And now there's going to be tryouts to get on the A team. There's like 3 different teams, ABC. There's going to be a chance for some of them to just skip right to the A team. I guess 6 first years. Of course, we know the other ones are just there to fluff out the numbers, so it doesn't seem like, oh yeah, it's only Takami and Haitani. But be for real, that's what it's all about. And then they get tryouts, and they're still like about fighting, still the same pose, like grabbing shirts and stuff. So what this tryout is, it's a 6v6. The top 3 to score will be on the A team. One group of the 6 is the first years, and then the other 3, or the other 6, is B team members mostly, and then 2 A team members. And if the A team members are not part of the top 3 to score, they'll get demoted. And at first it's some other A team member, I don't remember if they ever said the name, but also Bugai, which Haitani's excited to get that rematch, until Inazaki, another A team, the one I mentioned at the beginning, steps up and is like, I want to be part of this, blah, 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 blah. I guess just there to try to bully or flaunt on some first years. So Bugai's like, that's fine, you take my spot. You were supposed to do it anyways, but for some reason you didn't, now you do, whatever. Haitani's not crazy about that, but then Inazaki's going around doing like a handshake test, and it's like, oh, you're pathetic, you're weak, you suck, you're not on him, until he gets to Takami. It's like, oh, it's like, okay, that's where the hawk comes in. Of course, I know I just said the name. Inazaki, can't remember names. Is the Viper, and then goes to finally shake Haitani's hand, and okay, this part's actually like clever and funny. Goes shaking Haitani's hand. Haitani's like, oh, scissors, I win. And it's like, oh, and then Inazaki's like giving Haitani more credit. It's like, oh, you're smart. You knew I was going to do this kind of little test thing. And then Haitani's like, I'm just kidding here, and he shakes hand. But then Inazaki's like, oh. And because then we see Haitani's like a wolf. But we know how good Haitani actually is. Just a good defender, not scorer. So I'm sure that'll be revealed later. And coincidentally, there's another character in a baseball, the strikeout pitch or something like that. Single strikeout pitch. I don't know. Another manga plus one, or a Jump Plus series, where there's another character that's kind of doing that, but it's more just visually. And that one also had a funny interaction where that character looks like a they views everything like video games, and everyone's just like kind of whatever. But then one of the characters walks up to play, and he's like a Minecraft character. It's like, what the fuck? This guy's playing a whole different game. I like the just humor in this. But yeah, that's pretty much. I guess we'll see the tryouts next. Because this is about scoring, Haitani's not going to win, of course, but they already know that, and they know they need a defender, so they're probably still going to let Haitani, because they said they had 2 spots open on 18. So most likely it'll be the 2 18 people, then Takami, and then Haitani will lose, but they'll be like, well, we need a defender. We also still have the open spot, so we'll make an exception. Or still impress everyone, of course, but that's where I see it going for now. But let's move on to something less intense and just cute. And a little sad in this one. Ruridragon, Chapter 29, Walk on Eggshells. That one makes complete sense. I even put something like that in my notes. So, first off, Ruri gets rules on not to use powers. And Rui's understanding about it. It's like, okay, look, I'm trying to be like everyone else. One of the friends is like, well, it's just a natural body function. You should be able to use it. But, okay, let's be real. We also have other natural body functions that we don't use on people. The first thing that popped in my mind is like, yeah, I naturally piss, but I'm not going around peeing on people. It's so stupid. I guess unless you're like a monkey, you throw shit at people. I don't know. But yeah, okay, so we're not using powers like that. But there are also some people that are just talking shit, you know, just trying to call Ruri a monster or stuff like that. And it's like, okay, that was brief, but it's also like, fuck off. And then it's mainly focused on, like the chapter says, Ruri just wishes people to stop walking around on eggshells just because of all the dragon stuff. People would try and be too nice, which is almost worse because you're not really understanding how people feel. But also, if you look at past chapters, like, part of the problem was people that weren't walking on eggshells and then kind of got upset. Like, what's your deal? But maybe it was also like they were, like, backhandedly doing that instead of just being straightforward. I don't know. But the chapter ends with, for some reason, Ruri just running while covered in flames. At least the face. I assume maybe more. Just running like that. Emergency, a new power. We can already do flames. Is this something else like a flame cloak? That'd be cool. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the chapter. Okay. Let's move on more to... only a few left. Oh, I forgot to mention. This is a shorter week. One Piece is on break. There's less to do. Luckily, I already expected to add Ruridragon to this because, you know, honorary Shonen Jump, Weekly Shonen Jump, because it used to be, it's now digital only now. There was a one-shot in this issue. I meant to take note of what that one-shot was going to be, but since it's not in English on Manga Plus, yeah, I don't know if they ever will be. I just never bothered to look in or take note of that either. So, let's talk about Blue Box. Another support one. This one I'm just not into. Blue Box number 184. Your parent approved. That's the title. I did take note of that because that's pretty much my first note is Fuki left, and Taki is parent approved. That's pretty much it. And then they go to school. They're at school. Gym time. They're playing badminton. Some of the basketball players decide they also want to play badminton. Someone had some movie tickets but weren't going to use them or something, so they became a prize for 6 of them to do a doubles tournament. Whoever wins the tickets. Taiki doesn't really care that much. The next game or the rest of the tournament starts on Christmas, so Taiki would rather do something else or some other gift instead of gift given to him. That's pretty much it. That's all that really happens in it. I don't know if we'll actually see the tournament. Like, they play, but that's not where the focus is. I don't know if the rest of this tournament will continue in the next chapter or if it'll just be over when it starts and be like, this is who won. Taiki has a handicap, has to only play with left arm. Unlike all the other badminton people who don't have to, even though So, yeah, like, there's little things, but that's the main point of it. Now, let's go. I kind of want to say this one for last. How's this one not number one? Like, I get it. Kagurabachi and Sakamoto Days are also, like, really popular, and I get why. But Ichi the Witch, how are you not number one? I'm going to save Ichi the Witch for last because it's my favorite one. Well, so let's skip to Kagurabachi, Chapter 68, Metamorphosis. I don't really have too much to say about this one. Mainly, I think I'm just being a little petty because I'm upset the manager got killed so easily. But Chihiro and Hirohiko drop back down to the first floor in the elevator because Chihiro has to go get a key that's needed to turn off like the lanterns or something that will prevent the ritual for some reason. I don't think it was fully explained why or how. The manager knew this, but while that's happening, Iori is led up to the roof by the other short ninja person. I can't get better names. But yeah, when they get down there, Chihiro and Hiriko, some other rando somehow ended up with the key instead of the manager, but we get to see like the flashback fight, very pathetic flashback fight of the manager against Hiriko, and it's pretty much just Hiriko's a genius. Can't really see the moves and the blades and all this stuff because of how able to maneuver the blades and whatever. But Chihiro is able to see it enough, so there's going to be more fighting. But Chihiro already has the key. I guess just has to stop Hiriko now. Yeah, it was that easy. Now on to Sakamoto Days. This one also pretty straightforward. Not much going on. Sheen shoots Ando. There was some talk and it was being like, hey, don't kill Ando. But Sheen ends up shooting Ando in the shoulder. And then Ando actually protects Sheen from Akari's attack, which was in retaliation from Sheen shooting Ando in the first place. But then Sakamoto knocks out Akari and then goes looking for the bomb. Tells Sheen to stay with Ando, keep Ando from dying, apply pressure to the wound. But then Ando's pretty much, I'll tell you exactly where the bomb's at. Just go help Sakamoto. I'll hang in there long enough. I guess that was pretty much it. I guess we're just seeing the soft side of Ando for some reason. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That was a chapter. I don't know. I don't have much else to say. It's pretty straightforward. I feel like there would be more emotional stuff next chapter when Shin comes back to see what it actually become of Ando. It's also just a really long flashback. I'm not crazy about flashback chapters like this. Like, I get it's for character development or how the character developed into where they are now, but for now, I'm like, okay, sure, I get it, but it's fine. Anyways, let's go on to my favorite series. Oh, this is such a good series with such a great color page. I like pastels. I don't know why. Most of the stuff I wear is very dark, or not even dark, but just very dull, black, grays. I mean, look at this. So is the fact that my favorite color palette is just these kind of like blue, purple, pink pastel colors. I don't know why. It just is. But this is such a nice color page. Anyways, it's the 22nd hunt. Mentor pupil blood contract. Because that's what this chapter is about. Ichi and Descartes form a mentor pupil blood contract. Why is that hard to say? I don't know. It's like a serious moment, and it's just like, oh, we're gonna be family. It's like, oh, that's nice. And then Descartes, can't be too serious for too long. It's like, ha, I tricked you. Gotcha, bitch. Now you have to do everything I say. This is also known like a slave contract. Ha ha ha. You do everything I say. You do this and this and this and this and this. And she's like, oh, wait, no. But then, like, once Descartes leaves, she's like, but home, family, And then Descartes goes and talks, telling Shirobidona and Monigold, was that the two? Yeah. About forming this contract. And they're like, the fuck you mean? Like, no, you didn't really do that, did you? Nobody actually does those anymore nowadays, because even though the pupil has to do everything the mentor says, if the pupil dies, so does the mentor. And Descartes is like, well, there's no way I, as an adult, could live with myself knowing Like, the pupil, Ichi died. A kid died for this piece, and then I'm just relaxing in this piece. And it's like, this car is just such a good character. Whoever, okay, I never put too much thought once I like read a manga and then watched an anime. But when if assuming it does, which it must, if this ever gets anime, it's gonna be so. I'm gonna have my hopes up so much for whoever this car's voice actor is. Never watch the English version of this. Holy shit, that would ruin it. That wouldn't ruin it for me. It'll probably ruin voice acting for me forever. But this character, such a good character. So there's all that, and that this car is just having a secret, like, nice side, caring side for Ichi. I mean, it's like, because this car is just thinking, I pretty much took this kid from, just keep throwing this kid into other situations. I'm really emphasizing the kid part. And it's just like, okay, I get you. Really acting really motherly in this family dynamic that's going to be going on. Not going to try to make it weird. Don't try to make it weird. But yeah, then they get another prophecy to go to Bakugami, someplace. What was it, like the Joyous Bakugami? It had a nickname. To acquire the slumbering magic there. And then they will receive a companion that will fight with them. And then it cuts to someone that we appears male, I gotta assume, interrogating a frog head, who I assume is a magic because the person is asking how to acquire. And here is my theory, because that's where it cuts off. That's the end of the chapter. But here's my theory: sure, it's a male. I don't think it's a male witch, though. I think that's the problem. Is I think this person is strong enough to fight magic, but is unable to use magic and to, acquire the magic, and has been desperately going around 2 different ones to try to find it. At first, when I was like, oh, and you get a companion, it's like, oh, they're gonna get a pet mascot because we don't have that yet. Maybe it would have been the mushroom person or mushroom magic, but nah, the Toga Ice got that one instead. So now it'll be like the kind of grumpy, like almost rival-esque companion, that kind of type. But yeah, I don't think it'll be another male witch. I think it'll just be a male who wants to be a witch and acquire magic, but can't, and is still strong enough anyways. And if that is the case, I hope the person never gets the magic, but it gets other things. I don't know. Maybe you could use, I don't know. Ichi can fight and do other stuff without using magic, which I thought was going to be the whole gimmick for this, but no, it turns out, anyway. So, some mystery. I went back and I was like, okay, is this one of the, like, Witch Association witches? And I went back and looked through that picture and it wasn't, because, there was kind of like that tomboy-esque looking witch. And I was like, no, okay, it's not that one. Maybe it still isn't, just in a different outfit. That could be a possibility. We only get to see the back of this person, so who knows? But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. It's a great chapter. Descaris, such a good character. Definitely one of my favorite characters of all time now. It's just such a badass character too. I want to see, but also, I think I keep saying this, it just makes like Ichi not seem as great or phenomenal. Also, what would a frog magic be? Jumping, ribbiting, tongue, sticky. I don't know. Water-esque? No. Oh no, the shark one was ice. I don't know. Maybe it'll make you be able to be like Froppy. I don't know. But it's a great chapter. But it also seems really fast. I don't know. It could be. It could still get dragged out. Of course, our arcs get longer and longer as they go with every series. But the World Hater magic is definitely in game. I can't imagine a even more dangerous or higher thing unless the World Eater, Universe Eater eating. I don't know, but I don't know. I'm going to fanboy too much about Descaris. Such a good character. Are we going? And of course, we're going to get even more backstory as it goes on with Discaris. But, whoo, my heart is already hurting a bit from it. But, ooh, okay, no, sure, okay. So that's going to be it for this Weekly Shonen Jump review, issue 12 of 2025. Oh, before I ramble on anymore. But yeah, that's going to be it for this Otakutainment reviews. If you are watching in the future, you want to join me live so we can chat as I go about this, feel free. Remember, it's Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, I want to thank everyone that watched. I also want to thank my Ko-fi members, Vic Slab and Julio Vasquez. If you want to join me on Ko-fi. Oh, and Patreon. I need to edit this. Yeah, Ko-fi and Patreon now. Get my notes for all this stuff. All kinds of other stuff is going to be coming. You don't have to support me, but if you want to, that's nice. That's all cool. But yeah, thanks to them. Thanks to everyone that watched. If you want to get in touch with me, comment. I'm going to be asking. Spotify has like polls. I'm going to be asking something about akane-banashi. What did I say about? I was going to ask about. Oh no, I don't remember what my question was. I'm going to have to go back and check to see what that was. But yeah, talk to me. Social medias, email, Discord, all that stuff. Links will be available, easy to find. But that's going to be it for me. I've been your Otakutainer, the AC Stories. Until next week, bye.